Speaking of draining our sanity, this movie! Yay!
It is The Buddy System, our second movie we're talking about this year on the show, where every week we have a look at what came out this week, back in the year of 1984. We used to do 1994, now we're doing 1984. It's a lot of fun. This is our second film, and my name's Sandro, that's Zach.
Hello.
And I gotta tell you, Zach, January is a trash month at the moment.
I can't wait till we get to any other month of the year.
It's painful not in the podcast world, but also in the actual new release movie thing as well. Everything is bad.
Yeah.
What is happening? I saw the Doolittle film during the week.
Oh, you've seen it?
Absolute garbage. Potentially the worst film of the year.
Oh, wow. That's unfortunate, because I was really looking forward to it. Oh.
I kind of was as well. I don't know. I think you'd have fun with it, aside from the fact that every third joke is a fart joke.
No, I'm not seeing the film anymore. I'm so sick of fart jokes. Like, something's happened. At some point I was like, oh man, I'm sick of all these fart jokes. And now they just keep rolling in.
Yeah.
Like a thunderous wave of just awful comedy, and I cannot escape them, and every time I see one, I cringe, groan, and just feel bad on the inside. Yep. So I cannot enjoy a film if it has a fart joke. It just makes me sad now.
Was there a fart joke in this movie?
No, I don't remember there a fart joke. But I still managed to not like this movie. So... Yeah,
look... For the first half, I was going, this is about as bad as Hot Dog the movie. I think I enjoy them on the same level. But once you cross the halfway point in this film and it just becomes nothing, this is not good. This is not good.
I feel like it could have been a lot better if it wasn't 2 hours long.
Why is this film 2 hours long?
I don't know. It literally takes forever for it to do anything, and it annoys me.
It's ridiculous. We'll get into the plot in a second, but first, the other option that I had, because I picked this week's movie, the other option I had was the option that we also had last week, which was called Angel.
Yep.
I looked it up. Because I was just interested, right? I wasn't necessarily going to watch the trailer, but I wanted to see what other people thought of it. Apparently it's like an anti-hero action film as well. This movie, like Angel.
Why haven't we seen that one yet?
Well, because the synopsis is that like an honor student turns to prostitution so she can pay for a high school. But apparently it's also an action thriller, so I don't know what's going on. Maybe I should have picked it.
Maybe.
I picked this one instead, so there we go. It's called The Buddy System. It was released January 20th, written by a lady called Mary Agnes Donahue. She's written quite a few screenplays, short stories, and poems, that sort of stuff. She's also done a few directing jobs. Her most recent film was in 2015 called Jenny's Wedding, so she's still working, which is always good to see. And it's directed by Glenn Jordan, who is best known for a whole bunch of TV movies. He's done adaptations of Dorian Gray, A Streetcar Named Desire, and Les Mis. So he's done a lot of good work. Yeah? He's also won a huge amount of Emmys for a bunch of different projects, but mainly for a miniseries he did about Benjamin Franklin. So
nice. He was alright.
I think he worked with kids well.
Yeah.
Like, it's not the worst kid.
Hey, that's the thing I do like about this film. The child acting!
Wow.
Because it's everyone's favourite child actor, Wil Wheaton.
It is Wil Wheaton. We'll get to that in a second. As the lead, I guess, the guy called Joe, who's an inventor, he's an author, and he's a security guard, but also a police officer. That he's just everything. He's played by a guy called Richard Dreyfuss. You've probably seen something he's in. He's been in Jaws. Close Encounters of the Third Kind. And most recently, he was in a film called Polar, which is like a Netflix comic book adaptation thing. He was in that, so...
Oh, okay.
He's still working, which is good. And yeah, he befriends this kid called Tim, who is Wil Wheaton. Yep. Wil Wheaton's like first proper film credit.
Nice. Hey, good on you, Wil Wheaton.
If you don't know who he is, he's Wesley Crusher, Star Trek Next Gen. He also is in Stand By Me, really good Stephen King movie. And I didn't know this. He apparently plays Darkstar in the Ben 10 universe.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. He also has a great web series where he does board game stuff. And
Yes.
I like to watch that.
Is that on Geek and Sundry, maybe?
Yeah. It's very nice because nerd board games and they get famous people and it's funny to watch.
He is a nerdy boy. He is a nerdy boy.
He is a very nerdy boy. I mean, anybody who did Star Trek stuff is sort of evolved into... They've been absorbed into nerd culture, whether they like it or not. They didn't have a say in any of it.
No, and thankfully he already liked board games, so he managed to gel in pretty well. He does play himself on Big Bang Theory, though, multiple times.
That's unfortunate. I feel so sorry for him.
That removes, he would probably get paid $3 million an episode, so that's probably good.
Oh, yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
$1 bajillion.
Would you go on Big Bang Theory and play yourself for $3 million an episode?
Oh, absolutely. I would do it for $3, just so I could say bazinga. I would play myself doing a bad impression of Sheldon.
Wow, that sounds terrible.
Yes. I would take their quality to a whole new bottom.
Yes. So, playing Tim's mum, whose name is Emily, even though I didn't know her name was Emily until halfway through the film, because they don't call her that. The actress is Susan Sarandon. She's in also a lot of films. Weirdly, the cast for this film is top notch. The cast is really good.
Yeah.
I'll just mention one she got Oscar nominations for. Thelma and Louise, popular movie. She did one in '94 called The Client, which was an option. We didn't go for it though. And she won Best Actress for her role in a film called Dead Man Walking. So pretty good stuff there.
Yeah. I also had a problem with the woman in this film, but it wasn't a problem with them. It was more the fact that I didn't realize there was supposed to be two different characters. I realized there was two different actors.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize they were different characters. I'll get more into it when we get into the film, but yeah.
Yeah.
I thought they were good. I thought they were good acting. I especially liked the second one. Who was the second female?
The on and off girlfriend?
Yes,
her name is Carrie. She's played by Nancy Allen.
Yeah. I thought she was very good.
Yeah, it's funny, though, because it's funny that her character's name is Carrie, because the first proper movie she was ever in was Carrie.
Well, there you go.
She's also in, RoboCop and stuff, so she's pretty popular in the 80s. And finally, playing Emily's mum is the award-winning TV star Jean Stapleton. She won a bunch of awards for a role in a show called All in the Family, and she's also in Pocahontas too. So yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Alrighty then.
I thought she was bad.
Yeah, she's very annoying, which is kind of funny, yet at the same time annoying.
Yeah.
She was constantly badgering, constantly judging, constantly, criticizing their actions. It was just,
Definitely.
But she was displayed as just this kind old lady that's just worried about her daughter. But she's a total bee. If
this was a better movie, her character and her relation to the daughter could have been interesting. But because this movie isn't great, it wasn't very good. I kind of thought at any moment her performance would just turn into the mum from The Room.
Oh, yeah.
I even thought it was the same actress for a second.
Oh, okay.
The way they deliver lines is so similar.
Yeah.
So, once again, we've got a movie that doesn't have a critic score on Rotten Tomatoes.
Woof.
But it does have an audience score.
6%.
Well, you're going to be severely just disappointed in humanity.
Yeah?
It's 52%.
Ooh, that's a lot. To be fair, most of the reviews were pretty positive.
Oh, okay.
And I couldn't argue with them, so I was like, I guess. If it's your type of movie.
Yeah, so it's got 5.7 on IMDb as well. And I think the reason why it's relatively positive is because this movie is impossible to find anywhere.
Oh yeah, there were no reviews for this one.
Yeah,
I had to grab 3 reviews, and I grabbed all the worst ones. I grabbed the 3 worst reviews I could find. The rest of them were all pretty positive.
Okay. Yeah, that's amazing. Because I think it might have been shown on TV a couple times, but in terms of home release, this got a VHS limited release in the 80s, and it hasn't been released since. It's not on DVD, it's definitely not on Blu-ray, definitely not on any streaming services, or it didn't get like an iTunes release or any of that sort of stuff.
Yep.
You can only find this on VHS, which is not a good sign. Not a good sign for a movie.
Not a good sign.
And so with that, we have no idea how much this cost. What do you think it cost them?
Like a solid mil.
1 mil?
Actually, no, they had to pay the actors, so, like, 5 mil.
5 mil? Yeah, that's about what I would say as well. Like, a little higher than Hot Dog, which was 4.
Because all they needed to do for this movie was hire the actors.
Oh, definitely.
They could use their houses as sets, they could use their own cars, like, all the environments were just, a street or a house or whatever.
What about the inventions, though? They'd have to make those.
I'm sure the director just had those laying around.
Probably right.
He goes to shed. He has a bike thing that he's working on. He's like, oh, this would make great props for a movie.
Yeah, what do you think it made, considering it was only shown in America and only was on the box office for like 2 weeks?
8 mil?
Oh, nah.
8,000.
1.8 million.
Oh, okay.
Let's jump into the buddy system. This is the first time, I think, in our 55 episodes that a film opens with the classic zoom in on someone sleeping, pan over to the alarm clock goes to 6 o'clock, the guy wakes up. Like, I think it's the first time we've seen that.
Yeah. I think the Super Geek or whatever had something similar.
Oh, yeah, that would make sense.
Just because I remember this and that had something similar, which was the trope of a weirdly complicated alarm system. Because that's what all inventors have, is a freaking track of marbles or whatever that at 12 o'clock it opens all the blinds, it plays blaring music, it makes you a cup of juice or whatever. Why is that a trope?
Wallace and Gromit, maybe?
Yeah, I guess that's true. Shows that they're an inventor.
Yeah.
Because they made a unnecessarily complicated alarm clock.
What's your favourite invention? Is it the scales?
No.
Ah, I love the scales. That's a shame.
I don't know. I liked when he was working on the bike and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
That's about it. I kind of zoned out through half of this film, I'm not gonna lie.
I like the scales because they talk to you. Like, we see them, like, he's in his morning routine.
That's right.
Yeah. He stands on the scale, and the scales are like, you are 3 pounds overweight. This is the beginning of the end. If you don't shape up, and he's like, all right, and he just leaves.
Yeah, that's true. I forgot about that. Yeah, no, that's great.
Yeah.
Just so they could be condescending.
But, okay, so onto the proper plot. He's got to arrest Timmy.
Yep.
Or at least take him out of the town.
Yep.
Because the mayor doesn't... Like, him and his mum aren't citizens because they're living with her mum.
It's a plot.
What?
Yep. That's the plot.
What sort of mayor of a town... is like
gotta deport him out of here.
Deport a kid because he's living with his grandparent.
A dumb one that has a contrived plot.
Does this movie take place in like some sort of fascist state? Like, is this?
You know what? I don't think it would change much in this movie, and it would improve it a lot. So I'm gonna say yes.
Is this if, like, the Russians won the Cold War or something? Like, this is set in, like, some alternate history?
Yes, which is why he invented the motorbike, but is still super poor and has to work several jobs because he can't capitalize on it.
Yeah.
The state took his patent and has used it. And so he gets a small cut from that, but still has to go out and work as every day. You know?
Yeah, I think that's this movie. I think we've cracked it.
Yeah. This is what would have happened.
So does that mean that the director or the writer are pro-communism, or are they anti-communism and this is like a warning of
Oh,
what
come
could
on.
happen.
You saw this film. This is clearly a warning. This is clearly a, worst case scenario. Did you see that sad pumpkin?
Oh,
and
the
how
pumpkin!
sad he was?
The pumpkin!
Sorry. I shouldn't have got to it so soon.
We'll get to the pumpkin.
Oh my God.
Is the pumpkin...
The pumpkin is society's outlook on the world at the moment in this fascist system.
He's got to arrest or get rid of Wil Wheaton or something. We cut to Wil Wheaton. He is a kid with thick circle glasses, and he swears a lot.
Yeah. Oh my good lordy jeebers. He does say a bad word or two. He has some jewels of wisdom though, like wearing green. Sandro, do you remember what happens when you wear green? Is it on Thursdays?
I don't know. I think I remember that line of dialogue though.
It means you're gay, apparently.
Okay.
Yeah.
Look, it was a different time.
It was a different time.
The first line of dialogue we see from him though is he's with his mum having breakfast and she's smoking, and he's like, "Hey, I hate that farting smell. You're dropping ash all over my cocoa."
Yep. This is it's actually the one conversation that they have is the smoking and then the fact that wearing green on Tuesdays is gay.
Yeah.
It's a lot to take in at first, I have to say.
Yeah. Joe, he goes to basically arrest this kid. And in doing so, it's made obvious that they've been here before. He's like,
yep.
"Hey kid, it's time."
Yeah. It's time to go this time. For realsies. I can't just not arrest you forever.
Yep.
And then the kid is like, "Hi, I'm a kid. This is the plot of the movie. We're gonna be friends."
How about you look at my mum? Do you like what you see? You should date.
You want to get some of that mum up in there? A little bit of that sugar.
Oh boy.
And then they go hang out for a bit at his mum's place, and the mum comes back and is like, "Whoa, who's this man?" And he's like, "Hey, yeah, so he was going to arrest me, but I was like, hey, you want some of that mum?"
That's exactly what he says. That's exactly what the kid says.
It's pretty much that. And the mum, of course, is like, "Yo, not cool, get out." Pretty pissed off.
Yeah.
As you would be.
You should be.
If someone tried to sell you off to a man.
A random exposition at this point about the mum. She is a transcriber, and she wants to be a transcriber for court, but she can't because she's bad at tests. Also, she's got a boyfriend called Jim, and he doesn't like commitment.
Yeah, he's a plot in this movie at some point.
Yeah, he shows up shirtless for 2 scenes, and that's it. That's all
and then later on, he breaks up with her. He's only there so that she's reluctant at first.
Yeah.
To get a new boyfriend.
We're on the subject of these relationships that are definitely going to last the whole way through the film. Joe also has a girlfriend, and we're introduced to her. She's in her underwear, and we're like, "Hey, it's a girlfriend."
Yep. Unless you were completely stupid and thought that it was a flashback to because you misunderstood the relationship between the guy and the woman.
Oh, you thought the kid was his kid?
Yes, I thought the kid was his kid at first, which meant that they had had a previous relationship. So this woman was actually the younger version of the other lady, and this was a flashback. It's not.
No.
And they're two completely different people, but I didn't get that for half the film.
Wow.
Well, it didn't help that I didn't know what the mum was called.
Yeah, exactly.
It was when they actually referred to her as her name, I was like, wait a minute, that's not the same name.
Yeah.
Hold up.
Also, as we mentioned before, we had to watch just VHS copies of this film.
Yeah.
Which is perhaps the worst way to watch a movie.
Yeah, the quality wasn't great.
VHS, I do not miss the days of VHS, because
I like that squiggly white line that occasionally went through the screen. That really kept me involved with the film and didn't take me out every time that stupid thing went through.
I personally like how whenever there is just music in the audio sphere, it's always just kind of going up and down in pitch because of the quality of the VHS. It's like when it's meant to be one note.
It sounds right.
Yeah.
It was a different time.
That's going to be the tagline for this season, isn't it?
It was a different time.
So good. All right. The pumpkin. So,
oh, yeah.
Tim's like, Joe, come to my Thanksgiving play. By the way, I'm glad we didn't see much of the Thanksgiving play because it didn't look like it was okay.
I think it was accurate, at least. You see, because it's about a different time, Sandra, where pumpkins could be sad.
So, yeah, what is the pumpkin costume? He's a pumpkin in this play, right?
It's a good pumpkin costume. I'll give him that.
I mean,
it's a good, like, this is what a child's play would definitely have.
Yeah.
It was a good costume.
It's true.
He had a hat, and he had the big round suit.
At some point, though, I'm pretty sure he's like, I play one of the many different pumpkins in this play. But
there's four pumpkins.
We only really see him, though.
There's one joke where they're like, Where's the sad pumpkin? Where's the sad pumpkin? And one goes, here I am, and it's like, no, you're the happy pumpkin.
Oh, yeah.
Where's the sad pumpkin?
That's right, it is a sad pumpkin. And there's like a running joke where every time we see him being the sad pumpkin, he's like, Joe. He does this like twice.
No, it's awful. It's the worst. When he's pretend to be sad, it's just,
yep,
it hurts.
Not good.
Because he does it, yeah, it hurt me.
Yeah.
Physically.
It's pretty rough.
But it was funny because the sort of joke is that, he's like one of four pumpkins. He's not a very important character. But in the play, there's literally a bit where they're like, this pumpkin is sad. Why is it sad? So he does have a role in the movie where he's focused on.
Yep.
So he's more important than any of the other pumpkins.
Yep.
So he does have a decent role.
Yeah.
Although he messes it up. He screws it up because he sees Joe or whatever his name is in the audience, and then he starts smiling. And then the teacher's like, no, stop smiling!
And yeah, they do that twice. They do that twice as well.
Oh, yeah, because they repeat this whole scene again.
Because apparently this film takes place over a year.
Yep.
Okay, sure. After that, Joe and Emily have a talk, and she's like, stop hanging out with my son. Then they just make a bunch of child abuse jokes.
Yeah,
which was
great.
Yeah.
No, he makes them as well.
Yeah, he's like, oh boy, I sure do love kids. It's like, no.
Thanks, dude.
What is that? So Emily's like, Tim, stop hanging out with Joe. So what Tim does is Tim goes over to Joe's house.
Yeah.
We get the great line of dialogue where he's like, gee, this is a great place to live.
That's certainly a great place to live. It's pretty nice.
Yeah, it's revealed here that Joe's an author. He's writing a romantic drama book or something. Who cares?
No one cares. Not even his kid at first.
No, not even...
But then they're like, read books, idiot. And so the kid starts reading books.
Yeah.
Wow, what a great plot line. Then the mum is like, why are you reading books? And he's like, I found them in the trash. I found them in the trash, Mom.
Trash, Mom. Stop smoking in my bedroom.
Oh, yeah.
She puts a cigarette out on her sheets.
Yeah, she's kind of a bad parent.
What is...
She's like purposely a bad parent, but she's quite a bad parent.
Oh, I don't know. I think she's a good parent, and it was just a different time.
Right, yes, sorry. It was a different time. You can put your cigarettes out on your sheets if it's just a different time.
I bring up the scene where Tim goes to visit Joe because we get a scales callback.
Yeah.
Where Tim goes and he stands on the scales, and the scales are like, oh, now you've gone too far. You are clinically dead. Which is a good joke.
It's a good joke. Yeah, it's probably one of the few times I actually laughed during the film. That and the pumpkin. Those were my two favourite jokes.
So then we just get a montage of Joe breaking up with Carrie and then Emily breaking up with her boyfriend. They both happen at the same time.
Yeah, no. It's it's good storytelling. Like they both sort of like separate from their things and then are drawn together and all that. It just takes too long. I wish this movie was an hour shorter.
It takes so long.
Could have done that pretty soon. The characters sucked anyway. No one cared about them.
Yeah. At this point, the mum is now sad because she's been broken up with, and she's like, "Oh, how dare you read the books that you're reading? You're reading Animal Farm? What are you doing? That's not a book about animals." But somehow, even though Emily's then found out that Joe's the one giving him the books and she's angry, then she's totally fine with it, just out of nowhere. Is it because the son is learning stuff, reading these...
Yeah, I think she really wanted him to read books, and of course she's super upset that he's now reading books because of him, but, because she says later on to him when they're, returning the books and stuff, that she's like, yeah, I really wanted him to read books and all that. Well, not literally. She doesn't say that, but So
she returns all the books to Joe, and then they make peace, I guess. They're friendly towards each other. And then just, the most corniest, romantic music starts playing in the background while they're just looking at each other and every now and then saying a word. And it's like, what is going on?
It's a romance, Sandro. You wouldn't get it.
That's not how it works.
Yeah, no, that's exactly how it works in real life. You just stare at another person.
Yep.
And weird, almost porno music plays in the background. And you just say things.
Yeah.
Just get their child to promise you get to bang their mum.
Yep.
That'll do it.
Speaking of which, that happens. They drop Tim off at school, and then we just immediately cut to them
in the bed.
And then they're like, well, that wasn't fun. Let's just be friends.
Ba 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 da 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 da. Yeah.
I honestly think that was meant to be the original ending of the film. And then they went, oh, wait, it's only like a 50-minute long a TV special at the moment. We need to film another half of a movie to get this feature length.
No, honestly, it did feel sort of ending-ish, actually. Yeah, you're right. I wish it had ended here.
Same.
Oh, well.
Honestly, same. Because then it's just a bunch of them hanging out. It's a long montage. They're all hanging out. They're a big old happy hangout family friend thing.
Yeah, and that's when they have the barbecue.
Yes.
Where the auntie is super condescending.
Yes.
And she's like, oh, you're a book writer, huh? Well, guess everybody has to have a hobby and all that and stuff. And then she talks about how everyone has a good book in them. And he's like, oh, yeah, I bet you have a really scathing something like short horror series in you.
Yeah, that was funny.
Or something.
That was good. She says something along the lines of, oh, yes, everyone is a writer now. As you mentioned, they all have a book in them. And then, his response is, really? I thought everyone was a psychiatrist now.
Oh, yeah.
It's good.
Which is great.
It's a good way there, yeah.
Yeah, his comebacks are pretty solid. And of course, go completely over her head. Or don't. You can't tell. And so then he moves in with his previous girlfriend and he's like, yeah, I'm going to be with this girlfriend.
Yes.
I'm not going to change my mind.
No. I'm also not going to be a writer anymore. And he leaves the manuscript for his upcoming book just out on the beach and all the pages fly off. Which is not good. It has littering.
That's a waste. One, waste of good paper. Two, with littering, as you just said.
Yeah.
And three, waste of his time. Even if you'd given up, just keep the stuff. What if you change your mind?
Definitely, yeah.
That's dumb.
100%.
Just put it in a cupboard.
Yeah.
Seems like a waste of time to take it all the way to the beach just to leave it there.
Yeah. You're completely right.
I mean, he is stupid.
He is.
Like the whole film.
And then Tim comes and visits him and is like, oh, how dare, like, you hurt my mum, you know, my mum really liked you, and now you're back with your model girlfriend. I'm not going to be friends with anyone who does anything to hurt my mum. What about the entire start of the film?
Yeah.
They were, he was just insulting her constantly, and you two were friends?
Yeah, but the kid wanted them to be friends.
That's true.
That's it. Look, it's kid logic, okay? The kid can be dumb.
Yeah.
He cannot be. The kid, you know, he's using the logic of, hey, once you got to know each other, you were banging.
Yeah.
But now you're not banging. Literally or metaphorically.
No. Metaphorically?
Yeah, because they're like, you know, banging on, like having a good time together.
Right, yeah, no, I get you.
Or banging as in having sex.
Yeah, that's great. Really, like, nothing interesting happens. Like, the mum goes for a test to be the transcriber at a court, and she passes, and then she's like, Mum, I'm moving out.
And then Mum's like, you're gonna ruin my life. How dare you take away my children?
That's exactly what the mum says.
They're just moving out. You can still visit them.
Yeah.
I get that you're very attached to the child, but people have to leave the nest. Oh my god.
I think,
Jesus.
one, if this was a better movie, two, if that was the point of the movie, it could have been good.
Yeah.
Like, that's an interesting idea.
It could have been good. Like, it makes sense that she's very attached to the child at this point. It's
Definitely.
like, don't take it away from me, don't send me to an old people home, you know, that's like a fair plot line, but it's not very good about it.
No.
It's like, jeez, like...
This is bad.
You could talk about this, first off.
Yeah.
Be like, hey, maybe you can have the kid on weekends, you know? Hey, maybe you could come visit the kid every day. Hey, maybe you can let your child have their life. You know. Mm-hmm. Definitely top 10 villains in my book. This lady.
Compared to the German guy from last week's movie, a better villain or worse villain?
Definitely more villainous.
Okay.
I would say. German guy was just a dick.
Yeah.
She's a definite villain.
Okay.
The German guy, he's not so much the villain as just the, like, villain by circumstance.
Yeah.
He's just an asshole, whereas in this, she doesn't have to... Like, all the German guy was doing the best he could on the competition, the Olympic competition or whatever.
Yeah.
Which is fair. That's fair. That's good goals. Whereas this lady doesn't, you know, she's just genuinely being a dick.
Yeah, totally.
She's an evil person.
Totally.
Bad mum.
Joe steps on his scale again, and his scale says, you've gained 7 pounds. If you want to put anything in your mouth, it better be a gun.
Oh, yeah.
So, I love a suicide joke.
Nah, that was great. I love that one. You see, that one holds up because it's super edgy.
Yeah, it is an edgy joke. Yeah.
And that's all we are in today's society.
Yeah,
one big edgy joke.
And this is, without a doubt, perhaps the most contrived scene, but I kind of loved it. It was kind of like watching a car crash. You know what I mean? Just this scene in particular. Because his girlfriend comes up to him and is like, hey, Joe, I'm pregnant.
I'm super pregs.
And he's like, oh, that's great. I can't wait to live with you forever. Amazing.
Yeah.
And then she's like, actually, I just want to be pregnant. And his response is, we're done.
Yep. Well, it was pretty much like she has the decision that she wants to get pregnant. And the way she breaks it to him is by saying she's pregnant. And he gets all confused. So he's like, when's the baby due? And she's like, oh, not yet. We have to make the baby first. And then he's like, ha, 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 ha. We're done.
Yeah, totally.
Almost literally, he spends a full minute just laughing. And then he's like, yeah, I realize now the thought of living with you for the rest of my life sucks. Which is giving me like, it makes sense. It's a good scene. Yeah. I actually liked this scene.
Yeah, totally.
Because that made him realize that he doesn't want to spend his life together with her So he leaves.
Yeah.
He's like, we're done. Catch you later.
It's Thanksgiving at this point, so he goes to the play again, and Tim just happens to be playing the exact same role in the exact same play.
2 years running. Whew.
Yeah.
What a legend.
And he runs into Emily, and they're like, it's a good thing we don't love each other, and they laugh, and then they hold hands, and the movie ends.
Yep. But Sandro, they meet in the same way they did the first play.
No, that's true.
So it all comes back around. Haha.
At first, I think I said it earlier, but for the first half of this movie, right up until they get together for the first point, I went, this is not a good film, but it's about as good as Hot Dog the movie. Like, it's got its charm, but that whole second half was so boring and so badly written, and the acting, like, it's just not... No one cares about what they're doing. They're all just phoning it in. So without a doubt, this is a big old oldie for me. It's not the worst, but it's also just like...
Yeah, this is an oldie. I didn't think it was that bad. It was just very old, and it got so boring, because it's just... There's lots of tropes, or just useless dialogue that goes nowhere.
Yeah.
It's just there for the sake of it. I don't know.
It definitely isn't an original film in any way.
Yeah.
Either. Like we've seen this 10 times before, so. Yeah.
Yeah.
The buddy system.
Definite oldie. Cannot wait to get out of January. Good lord.
We'll get to your choices in a second, but I think next week might be a good one. We'll see.
Okay, alright.
Depending on what you pick. I think you've got a couple of good choices.
Oh boy. I kind of want to think about this now, because I don't want to get a bad one.
The pressure is on.
The pressure is in fact on.
We'll see. But first we have our segment where we sometimes pitch sequels, or we pitch our own different versions of the film. My version is the TV special edits of the Bunny system, where it's just an hour long with ads, and it ends with the first time they hook up. It just ends there.
Nice. Definitely improves upon the movie.
Yeah, sure. The character arcs do just kind of end and don't go anywhere. Sure, it doesn't entirely make sense, but it's also just 50 minutes long. Yep. And I think that's just an improvement.
Yeah, no, that's definitely an improvement on the movie. My idea is a normal film for the first 20 minutes or so, till they get to the sad pumpkin.
Okay. And
at this point, instead of whatever his stupid name is, I can't remember, he actually doesn't show up in this version. This majorly upsets good old Wil Wheaton's character. And where the kid has a creepy voice because she's possessed or whatever.
Oh, right, yes, from last year's Halloween special. Yeah.
Yes. That's the one.
That is Elm Street, yeah.
That, but it's Sad Pumpkin. He's in the Sad Pumpkin suit, and he just starts going around murdering people.
What's his murder line? What does he say before the slash?
I think he just makes the Sad Pumpkin sounds. Just go, and they're like, "What's that sound?" And they turn round the corner and they see him, and he says, "I hate that fart smell. You're getting cigarette in my cereal," and then he stabs them.
It's just all the iconic lines from the film with him killing characters.
Yes, but in the pumpkin suit. And also, at the end, the guy has to kill him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's a bit like oh no, stop all this, you have to stop. Otherwise I'm gonna have to kill you. And he's like, am I suffering?
That sounds amazing.
Yeah. And then the mayor comes in and it's like, should have done your job.
That's a good way to end it.
Yeah.
And then we zoom out and the city has got like communist symbols all over the place, and it's like, oh, this does take place in an alternate future.
Yeah. There we go.
Beautiful. All right, let's do your segment then.
So, this week on Raving Reviews, we have not many reviews. We have 3.
All right.
So, GCD70
Good name.
says, thinly scripted and predictable romantic comedy.
Mm-hmm.
Sad Pumpkin was good.
It's good that we're not the only ones who like Sad Pumpkin. Out of 5? All right.
And remember, there's 0.5s.
There are 0.5s. That sounds like a solid... I'm going to go 2.5.
Hey, well done. That is a 2.5 exactly.
There
well
we
done.
go.
Well done. Okay.
Perfect. All right,
Off to a good start.
Much better than last week.
Yeah. Phew. Then we had Susan.
Yep.
Susan said the worst part of this film was seeing how many kids were in the audience. Not sure what that means.
So Susan must have seen it in the cinema, which means that Susan is one of the, 10,000 people that saw this.
The worst part of this film was seeing how many kids were in the audience.
4. No, that's too high. 3.5.
It's actually a 2 out of 5, Sandro.
Okay.
It was a very negative review.
But then yeah, sure.
Dan said, and this is the final one, so you got to get this one to get a win.
Yep.
I feel like you will, though, because you'll jibe with this one.
Alright.
Saw that Wil was in it, saw it, and unfortunately, only bad part about this film was watching it.
That's a good review. That's really good. I definitely agree. 1.
Remember 0.5s exist, Sandro.
Oh, 0.5 then.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Lowest possible review. They did not like this one at all. There we go.
All right. Then that is Raving Reviews, which brings us to the end of this episode. A little short, but this film doesn't deserve any more words said.
Yep.
Where can people find us? Where can people get in touch if they want to?
Well, we got a Facebook page. We got an email. We've got a Spotify. We've got a...
Good save.
I was like, Spotify. Wait, do we have that one? Yes, we do have that one. We don't have a SoundCloud.
No.
We are on Instagram. I'm occasionally on there. Never. And Sandro's on his one.
Yes.
Link in the doodad. And leave us a review on the iTunes if you appreciate Sad Pumpkin.
We did get a review on iTunes recently.
Ooh.
From Kathy, who says, the films may be oldies, but the podcast is a goodie.
Hey, I disagree. Podcast is also an oldie for me.
Yeah, we'll read you out if you give us a review or an email, all that sort of stuff. Yeah, as you mentioned, links in the doodad. Now, you're picking next week's movie, Zach.
Yes, so let's do that.
You've got a few choices, actually, so here we go.
Yep.
You got 3 picks. The first one is called Broadway Danny Rose. It's about a theatrical agent. Who he helps out. He helps out one of his clients, but in doing so, he is dragged into a love triangle, which involves the mob.
Okay, what was that one called?
It's called Broadway Danny Rose. It is a Woody Allen film, so you know. One of your other picks is called The Lonely Guy.
Yep.
Which I have a feeling could be Incel the movie, but we never know. It stars Steve Martin. He's a guy who writes greeting cards, but then he writes a book, and the book is called A Guide for the Lonely Guy, and it changes his life forever.
Yeah, that does sound like an incel. Yeah.
And your third and final pick is El Norte.
Quick summary, let's go.
A couple of teenage siblings, they escape a massacre in their village, I think, and they decide to start a new life in the north, which is America. So they trek across Mexico, meet a bunch of different people, and they try and become legal citizens in America.
That one sounds interesting.
Okay.
Why not?
Yeah.
I hope it's good, though.
We'll go for El Norte or the North.
Yeah. El Norte. It sounds like it could go either way. It sounds like it could be really good or really awful.
It kind of sounds like Even Cowgirls Get the Blues. Like, it could be...
Yeah. It has that vibes to it, which I'm a little worried about.
We'll see. We'll see. We'll watch it next week.
Yeah.
Let's wrap it up with our favorite quote. Do you have one?
Yeah, my one's definitely. Thanks, Wil Wheaton.
And mine is Joe. She does it twice. It does it twice.
Yeah.
They go back to it. It's a callback.